my Muslim brother who is
I'm vain, yeah. I'm vain.
worried
Hold on.
about his looks, dude.
I know I am.
That is incredible. It's from my Muslim brother who. All right,
That's bad. I don't know. I don't think it's bad. It's okay. I mean, if you can get it removed. I had two of them. I had two big bumps. I had three of them.
What were they from, dude?
They were just they're like calcium deposits.
Oh, calcium, dude. You're a shellfish, dude. It's your shell, dude.
Are we on now? Are you live?
Yeah, dude. We're live, bro. Yeah, dude. We're live in Skaterix, dude. Who's that?
This is hilarious. You gotta check this guy out.
I'm just waiting for him.
I get it.
Okay, he's a comedian. I'll send it to you. It'll make more sense because it's hard to see it through there. I'll send it to you on the. He's a comedian. He's
not very funny, dude.
It is funny. It's hilarious. He's doing an impression of an influencer.
That must be small hat. Must be small hat humor, dude.
No, other people who are not small hatted, I've sent it to. They laugh, but we're doing it through a medium here of Zoom, so it's probably not that funny. So what's going on, man? What's
happening? What is going on? Have we done one of these in 2023 yet?
No, we have not.
We have not. Is this our no, dude? Wait, hold on. Let me check. I can see the archive right here.
No, we haven't done it yet for sure.
We haven't skaterix, dude. Wait, I have to look is for the one video that's not monetized 4 weeks ago. No, you're correct. We ended 2023 with the no monetization, dude. I mean 22. No. So where are we, dude? The solars one step away from being on. One step away, dude. We thought we were real close. It was supposed to be on a couple days ago, but some little gizmo that communicates with central office to link all the brains up of the thing. It's pretty involved. Wasn't downloading quick enough. So, and then we wait for our little permit, and then we start sending the power back at PG&E, dude. Making some money. And we got out on the tractor yesterday, tilled the soil, trying to get getting ready. Spring's gonna be here before I know it, dude. That's all I know. Ordered a bunch of different seeds yesterday. And yeah.
Nice.
And our homing pigeons hatched 2 baby pigeons, dude. So and the cat got hit by a car last week.
Oh, did he survive?
No.
Sorry. Sorry, man. I don't know.
Dude, you gotta take the cat. It's a cat, dude. No. And it literally is curiosity killed the cat. It was a super bummer. He ventured to dude, the road has gotta be.
Hopefully it wasn't by a Subaru.
Probably was, dude. That's the kind of people that kill cats, dude. I don't know. Something clipped him. He was fully intact. His head was looked like it received some trauma.
Sorry about that, man.
Dude.
I don't know. Some people, I know people with their pets, they're like, my brother-in-law is like, we kind of joke about it, but he's like unhealthily in love with his 2 dogs, to where like
the dog thing I don't get, dude.
One of the dogs had like a rash or something, and he was like broken down crying, and his girl left him a while ago, so he's kind of like, that's all he has, kind of thing. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's strange.
Well, the animal thing's weird. No, we were pretty bummed that the cat got clipped, where we took it was it was like 4 months old, 5 months old, super good outdoor black cat, right? It was super cool cat. And it would do our morning rounds with us, and it herded the goats in. It was like a goat herding cat, dude. It was pretty wild. But we were super bummed, and we figured it got eaten by like predators, like a yote or a hawk or an owl or something, or some predator had gotten it. So when it got hit by the car, there was a weird like, okay, well, that's on him. You know what I mean? Like that's something you can't do anything about, but like the predator thing, like how many cats do you feed the predators? So we were stoked it wasn't the predators, because it was super, like if that cat had gotten eaten by a predator, that would have been bad, because it was super on it. You know what I mean? Like just not with the cars. And that makes sense.
You didn't I mean, he didn't have COVID, right? I mean, because I heard that a lot of like cats and just
we tested him. He's a COVID
PCR
death.
test him before he went out, because
He's a coof death. Coof.
okay,
Coof,
okay,
for
gotta
sure.
mark it down, because I heard that like that's like you gotta test them every time they go out, because then you don't want to have them like affect other cats, and then there's some like I think clause in the agreement, like with
Clause. No pun intended. Ah.
Like,
So yeah, no, he's it was definitely a cause. We on the birth certificate on the tombstone we made, because I dug an official like grave for the cat, because I had to go in the middle. Oh, dude, yeah, and so died of COVID for sure. That was his thing.
that makes sense to me.
We got demonetized right there, but that's okay, dude. Just make sure that you trust your pharmacist.
Sorry about that.
Just, all problems in your reality can be solved at the pharmacy, dude.
Yeah, I always tell friends, and you'll appreciate this because you're a God-loving person. I kind of joke with my Muslim community now. I tell them, I say, like, it's kind of funny how we wholeheartedly have taken these atheists as like the torchbearers of truth. These atheists who hate God, who don't want anything to do with you. Somehow we find that,
isn't that ironic?
Science is worth putting our nice. Was that him?
That's the stick.
I just saw a video. Yeah, I think you posted a video of him. Okay.
Yeah, stick was pretty next level, dude. It was a definite team loss. But yeah, no, that's funny. I've never really thought of it that way. Is a bunch of people taking advice, a bunch of people that are connected.
People who claim to be, and this is everyone is guilty.
Yeah,
Muslims, Christians, we're all sort of been duped by this thing where we wholeheartedly trust like the enemy of God, which is the atheist who doesn't even believe in God, which is interesting.
Well, we here at this channel, the High Frequency Tribe, has made it very clear that we don't put any shillers or promo codes or hats between us and God, dude. Like anytime anyone tries to wedge in there, dude, they get punted. Just a punt.
Yeah, I mean, I watched my mom what did it for me was watching my mom getting handed pharmaceuticals till her death for 30 years. And
yeah.
I have a huge resentment for the medical establishment along with Hollywood. Both of those can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. But yeah.
For sure. Well, you know what, man, with that kind of attitude, you're ready for statins. I
want to just tell chat Nora, I have a 2022 Subaru Ascent. So I'm a Subi dude, and even though like I get made fun of a lot, I take my Subaru really serious.
Subi dooby doo. Who are you? Jordan's got some chores to do. Gonna pick up the kids, go to the park, and get some coffee too.
Yeah, I like the Subaru. I try to relive every day like a Subaru ad, like just park on the side of like near the beach, like, and just pop the hood and like put a little like tent up and kind of just do a little what are they called?
Greet the children.
Where you do the thing at the baseball game or the football game, the where you kind
Smack
of
them on the butt.
barbecue thing in the tailgate. We're doing daily tailgates with our Subarus. Tailgate party
At the protest.
Yeah.
For equality.
Every day, dude. I'm yeah. You know what's interesting? I can't say her name, but I was with last night. My kids had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. And we do all of them at the same time because it's just more affordable that way. Because we do all three, because they're all like in January and September.
Okay.
So my friend she's one step down from the city attorney of San Francisco. And I asked her about, because I used to live with Alexandra Pelosi, the Nancy Pelosi's daughter. That was my old roommate, and we were kind of talking about that. I said, was it true that that the dude actually the Hammer, the Hammer situation, like Nancy Pelosi's husband?
We're not talking Jim Greco skateboarding. We're talking San Francisco. Hammer time. Yeah.
I was confused for a minute. I was looking at the chat. I was looking at myself. We're talking.
we're not talking about Jim Greco's hammers.
I know what you mean. Is he good? I don't know. He never stuck in my mind as being anyone that I ever paid attention to, but that's me. I'm not into nail polish. Anyways, it was go ahead. Forget it. Just go for it. It's not important. It dawned on me, that I think we're being trolled most of the time, that a lot of the things that we're being told that's happening to us, and we talked about this before, is like, I still go outside and I don't feel really any different than I did 10 years ago, except that, like, depending on like my skill set and like how I'm raising my kids. And so I'm just saying, from like the truther aspect, like a lot of the stories that we're hearing and the gematria and the numbers and the thing, I'm not discounting any of it, but I'm also
it.
Yeah, I'm also not, all I'm saying is I'm not buying it in totality. I think it's like a 5% of what we think it is what I'm saying. Like, its effect on our lives.
Well, I heard something today, and it said, so what if you discover the truth? Who are you going to tell?
Exactly.
Who does it matter to? What are you going to tell me? Like that's where it's all sputtered down to, is like,
it becomes a big circle jerk. Pardon my.
Well, who are you gonna go? Like, what's the authority you're going to go to bust them? Like, there's nobody to turn them into.
Yeah,
I mean,
it becomes like it becomes just on the sheer high of like pointing at the next like
it doesn't matter. Yeah,
phenomenon. It's a circus, and you're just going to point to the next trapeze act. It's like let it go and focus on your own life and building your own life. I'm not saying things don't exist, but
it's no different at the way I see it, the truther thing and the whole thing than picking up a comic book and enjoying a comic book. Good
analogy. It is very. That's a great analogy. That's very.
It's
very much how it seems. Yeah.
Because at this point, like, what does it matter? And I'll concur with what you're saying. Is like, when I go outside and Like, so today, like I was wiring, I have this big mess of electrical in our grow room pump house. That's been a daunting task. And I went and flipped the breaker and started cutting wires and doing what I had to do. And I'll tell you what, dude, there were no pedos there. There were no global warmers there. There was no end of the earth there. There was no 7-Eleven there. There was no sauce there. There were no evil pharmaceutical companies there. There was just a dude trying to rewire his little room to grow plants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like
I'm right there with you, bro. It's
yeah, it kind of sucks because I do totally check in with it. Like I do keep my finger on the pulse of the comic books.
Yeah.
But the actual they used to be like interesting like subject matter to like generate out. Like they really just sort of hit my wall of interest, and then I'm okay.
You know what I got interested in? Like it's weird because people view me as like a conspiracy theorist. They'll because when I'm more addicted to I'm guilty of being interested in like trying to like crack a code. But I realized that like my true like love is like my natural tribal disposition of small hats. Like I'm getting really into like learning about business and marketing and sales, and like I'm trying to like figure out like skills that are going to help me and my family and bring us forward. And I'm like, and then I go into that other world of like of the comic book world, and it's I like the skill building world, and I like to learn things. You can't be in both worlds. You can, I guess, unwind with the comic book, but you can immerse yourself. And you notice a lot of people that are in the comic book world they're really not progressing in actual real life. Like and I'm not as someone who's been like, who understands like that the comic book world very well, at least I like to think I do. It's almost like better not to open the comic book and just focus on your skills. And I'm saying if you want to really move forward and avoid the globalist, then you should probably like build skills so you don't have to go and work a regular job and be a real slave to the system that you're criticizing all day long. That's kind of what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
It's more, it's like this.
Not that you have to be a marketer or anything, Hamish, okay? I'm just saying. You gotta build skills,
It's sort of like being a patriot and eating processed food from McDonald's. Like that's the way I look at it. Like, what's the point of the information if you're gonna sit and eat their food, drink their beer, and play in their arena? Like, what's the point? It's that weird thing you see it all the time. I see, because I live in one of those zones, you can see the don't tread on meers pulling right into Burger King. And you're like, what an ironic not getting the message. That's where I've really...
Yeah, totally. Jack's not happy. Jack. Hi, Jack.
And the irony of it all is, no matter whether you're a super progressive lefty loony or you're a don't tread on me right winger conservative, they all are going to the fast food joints, and the numbers bear it out. They're all drinking the soda pop together. So if you wanted to be part of that was where I think that's where they've broken
There's
The
there's a McDonald's that's like, there's a freaking McDonald's that's literally built, I think every like 8 minutes or something like that globally. At least at one point there was like people are, yeah, it's we're exposing the globalists, and we're gonna, after we eat our Big Mac.
Yeah, it's
And,
so,
and watch some.
well, that's sort of the whole like truth or narrative thing is okay. So why does it matter if you're still sitting there wedging toward Doritos? Like, does finding out the truth about fluoride in your drinking water matter if you're drinking high fructose corn syrup? And there's the rub is it really does, I mean, I've been saying this on this channel for near almost as long as I've had a family, is the revolution begins at the dinner table, man. Is just look in your fridge and see if you're really a patriot or not. So it's that's where, like, I've just, well, what's the point of being a truther if you're still eating processed Big Macs?
Yeah, my whole point was that just I'm in a phase in my life at 48 where I'm just I've known this for a while, but I'm realizing more than ever that if I want to, as a man who realizes I'm falling short in certain aspects of being like the role model for my kids and being the one who like takes care of my wife in totality, like I know I'm falling short. And if I want to bring us forward, like there's just certain things I have to know and learn. There's a reality to that. People don't like to hear that. They want to hear that they're going to get another COVID, whatever, another free check from the government, or their mediocrity. They want to be affirmed or whatever. I don't like that word, affirm, but the reality is that we always have to be bettering ourselves. And I guess
did you get one of those debit cards with the California seal on it?
I did get one for like $700, but I didn't get the one for 7,000.
Oh, there was one that was $7,000.
Yeah, I got one because of, I guess when you file,
it was from 2020.
Yeah, because I paid my franchise tax board tax, I guess, and that's what they said.
Yeah, I got one too, dude. I was like, all right. Yeah, from 2020. That's the thing. Is it took that long to get here, man. But yeah, I got one, and at the mail I was like, come on, man. But then I was
then they give you, I got that, but then I got a 1099 from them like just today. So, it's like, we'll give it to you and then we'll tax you for it. It's like, okay, it's fine.
Well, that's
$100
it's the 10-to-1 ratio, dude. They give you one and take 10.
Exactly. In more ways than just cash.
Well, that's the funny thing is the more you get into the thing where you realize that there is no net, right? And the more you're on your own trip, the less you truly care about the price of eggs. And the more you realize you might just like fall into oblivion if you blow it, dude.
I just put Jack on timeout. Sorry. I don't even know who Jack is, but you gave me the power, so I made an executive decision.
Yeah, dude. Taking care of business, dude. So it's funny, but the weird thing, remember when we were sitting here doing this, what was that, 3 months ago, and I was talking about the eggs? I was ahead of the curve on that one. Holy smoke. Yeah. Now that they've doubled in price. Oh no.
Yeah, my kids are more like, they're more attentive than I am. They're like, my kid wants to get a chicken. I think we're gonna get a couple of chickens for sure. We're living, we have a small backyard. We have, but there's no excuse. At the same time,
I will warn you on urban chickening.
Yeah.
I did that like during the hype of the coup.
Yeah.
An immense amount of poop.
I'm sure. That's
It's
what I'm a
filthy.
little bit, so we're really connected with local farms, which is good. So for me, it's like,
Yeah,
know.
I'm just saying before you go run out and get a couple chickens, maybe not. You got to have like a zone. Like we have a whole zone where it's like whatever, they just do their thing. They're cool, but if it's your backyard, it's a drag, dude. Like a real it's and the irony of it is their chickens are way more social than you think. So they end up pooping right where you want to come in and out of the door to the backyard because they're waiting for you.
Yeah, and it's already my daughter, and her name is Anaya. We call her the Annihilator, and she's already like a little chicken. Like she leaves messes everywhere. Like she just destroys the house. So a chicken poop to add to the mix doesn't sound fun.
No, better off to just grow vegetables, dude.
So what should we? I know we're kind of just kind of free flowing. Is there anything that what have you been up to? Like what do you yeah, what's like
Well, you know, I had that I went down to the grid a couple weeks ago to go surfing, and it was pretty interesting actually. Like I don't ever want to go back. I mean, I will, but I really did see how toxic the grid is, and not in a judgmental way, just an observational way. Like I was like, whoa, no wonder people can't hang all these lights, and you know, because from here it's 3 hours to the beach, and there's like one big 4-way light like you hit right when you're there, and you sit there and you're like, oh, these things. No wonder people are losing their minds, dude. No wonder everybody's slightly sketchy and edgy and just you realize how much of their life's gone with traffic lights. So anyway, I was down there, and I didn't manage to run into an inordinate amount of all the people I ran into an inordinate amount of like YouTube viewers, which was it. So it kind of revived my my drive.
That's cool.
Because I realized I'd taken kind of like a year off, because I've been up here doing this, man. And you know, so it's that thing of trying to switch it up a little bit and get more in touch with slowing it down to make a new content. I've realized that okay, it's if you're kind of asking me, I'm getting beaten around the bush because I'm figuring it out in real time. When we, you know what we were just talking about, like the truth or narrative and all the BS and all that, like it's the truth or narrative is not uncovering the truth. It's discovering the lies, right? And I'm like, I want to make discovering the truther stuff, which is basically like, so I got the tractor, right? And I'm like, you know, cruising around on it and whatever. And I'm, you know, putting hours on it. And I'm like, I realized all of a sudden with this tractor, like, and the owner's manual and the whole thing is like, it's fully like meant to be like wrenched on in a big way. Like the tractor things are like they give you the whole, this is take this off and do this and blah, 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 blah. And I was sitting out there with it yesterday, and I was like almost shocked in a weird way, because I was like, oh, you're supposed to do all this, like the whole gig with the tractor is like, they know like it's like that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty freeing, but that's also intimidating, because like, I'm not rolling the thing down a Jiffy Lube, am I? Like it's on me again. And I was like, well, what is the truth? The truth or truth thing is it a different direction than we've been stuck for the last?
It's fascinating, man. Anyways, continue. I'll
No, it's more like I sort of had this epiphany going down to surf in town and running into a lot of people. Like more, like I said, more people ran into me than I would have expected. Like, hey, bro, like I've been getting a lot of interesting emails on that. And I was like, the whole rabbit trail thing is played out. Like, it doesn't matter what the playbook's super obvious now. You know what I mean? It's like so dumb obvious. It's not even like entertaining anymore. And we've joked about it here as like, you know, like do it already. Like, what do you got? You guys got any plot development? You got any plot development? And there's no plot. It's they played it out. They've run out of steam. There's no big takeover happening. There's nothing's coming in their thing. So it really comes down to us. And when you sort of turn this corner, you realize that the truth is God, of course, at the top of the truth pyramid, but that it comes with all these like eagle trails, dude, if you will. If the truther movement up till now has been following rabbit trails, the dead ends down into the ground, and all of that, the new truther thing is eagle trails to the light, man. And like I've been really just tripping out on like how, by the nature of the human brain, we want to solve the riddle, right? And they've just put like an unsolvable riddle in front of us that has perplexed us for decades and most of our lives. But, you know, the interest-bearing currency and the this and the small hats and the World Economic Forum and the big pharma and this and that, this and that, and this and that. And then you realize that the human mind wants like cliffhangers. And I was like, oh, we're not doing cliffhangers on the positive, dude. Like I've been really trying to structure my thing of like being like, oh, okay, it's like tune in tomorrow to see if I actually wired the building correctly, kind of thing. Like, instead of tune in tomorrow to see if we all die, how about tune in tomorrow to see if the lights come on, man? Because like I did it right. You kind of you get what I'm saying is, but yeah, that's where I'm kind of going with 2023, is trying to make it more into like a cliffhanger into the positive versus like a cliffhanger into the negative.
It's interesting and how, because there was a time where before before social media and like this ease before people were so easily accessible to like any type of media, you could only find your subject in front of a TV with a few different channels. And even then, you could only find your subject, meaning the person who's watching. You could only, a certain amount of content, you can only target them with if they went to an actual movie theater to watch it. So you had like a scenario where large portion of the population, like in order to get them to get hooked in their mind, like ideas about whatever idea or narrative you wanted to put in their mind or install in them, a belief system, you have to get them in the movie theater and had to sit down. And people would say, like back then, like when the first movie theaters were erected, they would say it was very similar to like a synagogue, the way that it was like structured.
Hollywood, dude.
Yeah, the holy wood, right? But what's interesting now is like that movie theater where it used to be, where tons of people, you had to gather together into one room and show them. Now that movie theater is literally here on the phone in perpetuity of whatever you want. And then the algorithm will craft something. Point being is that the algorithm will give you exactly what you're looking for. And so if you're looking for a thriller with a cliffhanger of with Jason type stuff, well, like what a lot of these truthers are into, then you'll find that there. If you're looking for happiness, if you're looking for goodness, you'll find that also. And I think that it's just interesting how much of our own reality is sort of self-dictated rather than, no one's forcing us to believe these things. And
Well,
I'm not discounting that there's not, a thing going on, but what exactly is the thing? No one really knows.
No, but the thing's, it's almost super obvious. I see it in the chat. It's 2023 is the government squeezes out the small guys out, is the year of the government squeezes out the small guy. That implies that like we're that it's not going to squeeze me out because I don't view myself as a small guy. I'm created in God's image, so like no one has any more weight than anybody else. According, you know what I mean? Like I have the blessing of God, dude. So it's a very interesting thing when you get to this whole, what you were saying is the programming is so immensely deep on this thing. And while you were talking, I wanted to say this is how did the truther thing prior up until how all the truther happened was reading. It was for like when I was a big activist, dude, there's the practicality of being a person who went outside, but it was also, I read a lot.
What's Ryan saying? Sorry, Jordan needs some Legos. Then you could double zoom on the tinfoil brick apocalypse. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, totally. I got to get back in there, man. I've been consumed doing other stuff lately. No, it's the thing of
sounds fun.
Of the whole, this is what I kind of like, you just sort of sparked an idea in me. Where the whole movement came from of discovering what was going on was from reading. That is the ultimate, like that, it's all reading. And it's interesting because when you look at the reading thing, that's how everybody used to inform themselves, was pamphlets and mail and letters and sending stuff back and forth was the thing. So I think we're at this interesting crossroads where the old narrative's collapsing in itself, because at the end of the day, the people, it needs the truther moment to counterweight the whole thing. It needs the polarity of it all. That's what I mean. Like when we really saw the deal the other year, that the right-wing conservative truther is no different than the progressive leftist terrorist. They're the same group of people. It just one wears a different uniform and has a different flag, but they're both pumping for the man because they're pumping for the man because of their polarity, right? They've chosen to be in an ideological camp about whatever it is, and that's the ultimate bunny hole. And we're watching it unspool in real time. It's that thing where it's like, I came out, I was like, if you're a truther and you understand the gambit that the man's making, then you can't really do any I told you so. Because that was the ultimate gambit of the man. The gambit of the, like the way I see it, and to go to the coof thing, it's latent in people who sauced, right? And it's activated by fear and low frequency vibrational energy, which lowers your immune system and all that kind of stuff. They're depending upon the truthers and the I told you soers to promote the next wave of this thing. And that's like the hustle is that we've all played a part in awakening the beast by being consciously observing the beast. Like you can't go and uncover all this stuff without activating it in a weird way, It's very dark. It's like a very dark thing. Like that's again is Like for me, like, let me ask you this. So when we started doing the skaterix thing, right, we uncovered some very unsavory realities about the skateboarding industry as a whole, and its manipulation on a worldwide level to target small children, right? Since we uncovered that, has it gotten better or worse?
Worse.
Right? And so what I'm saying, what I'm getting at is, like, I think us consciously uncovering the thing twofold. We're observing something that's there, but we're also giving it more fuel, and like, it's this weird balance. Like,
There's an interesting quote from one of the that's very fascinating what you're saying. There's actually the second caliph or Khalifa in Islam named Omar bin Khattab. He said that if you want evil to go away, then simply don't mention it. Don't give it any credence. Don't give it any attention. It's really to what you're saying. When you start to like acknowledge it and give it attention, it's just like fear and anxiety. When you fall into an anxiety, a fear state of fear and anxiety, that state of anxiety and fear only grows until you like quell it until you relax. And I think we're giving a lot of these things to, there's a term called conspirituality, which is like an interesting term. It means it's like a sub segment of the people who are truthers. They don't realize that they're so truthed out that their truthing or their red pilling in and of itself has become a conspiracy. Like, in other words, like the Alex Jones and the David Icks and the lizard people and all this stuff some stuff is real, but there's also a lot of it that's not real. And it makes people who are level-headed, which I like to consider us, despite what other people might say, it makes us look stupid. And I think that's a big thing of this whole, thing, is to make the most obvious of truths, to make it look absurd, just for the simple fact that, either they want to get away with whatever they want to get away with, or whatever, just to belittle the most obvious people, to belittle the most obvious of people who are stating the most obvious of things.
Well, it's the thing that, like, it's sort of the thing with the Jeffrey E thing, right? And his island of weirdo freakness, and Ghislaine, who's in jail. Like, that is actually greenlit the whole thing, because now, like, all the freaks and the weirdos, they know that they can get away with it. Like, and that's everyone's like, so this and that, but you're so focused on that, and you still got your kids hanging out in public school. Like, that's what I mean is when I think about certain aspects of things, like, I just chopped them out of my life by like going, okay, I'm going to have to like get involved in a deeper level with what's going on in the reality around me, and that goes back to like the shifting of the content, right? Like, that's what I meant about the truther thing, is you can go to follow the bunny hole or follow the eagle's path, right? Like, we've been so trying to like uncover like the dark monster that like we forgot to like accentuate. My pastor was talking about it a couple weeks ago. He was like, look, man, like, if you truly get what we're doing here and what this is all about, and you've truly been saved, why are you tripping, man? I'm paraphrasing, but like, why are you tripping out on it? Like, why are you focusing on that? You should be out occupying the land. You should be like singing for joy, because you know the truth. Like, that's what I mean, is the truther thing is all based upon this like sour grapes. I'm small. The government's coming to crush me. AI is going to take us all out, dude. The Bitcoin's going to go down. The Bitcoin's going to blah, blah, blah. It's all doom. And as much as I like the comic book, because I have that dark entertainment vibe, dude, because we were brought up on that, I do realize that it is all about the tractor. and I mean that like metaphorically speaking, is like, I cracked open the owner's manual today and was like, whoa, dude, there's like a whole, and I was like, oh, this is like a book. Like, oh yeah, I know how to use books and this and that. And like, what does it do? And what am I doing? And like this whole like different path. And I go, yeah, the mountains don't care. That's what I just keep coming back to is the mountains don't care, dude. They just don't care. There's like there's a Built to Spill song, dude. And it pretty much lays it all out, dude. What is it, man? It's just basically like wait, I gotta find it because it'll come back once I find the song title. But you know what I mean is we've so focused our energy down the wrong pipeline, but we had to go there. It's that thing is it's like the only way to get sober is to go like burn your life down. You don't get to have the epiphany of sobriety without fully like throwing the dice. You know what I mean? Like you got to go down you got to burn it all down to realize you can build it all back. And the thing. And that's what I think it is where we're at the jumping off point of people that have discovered a big percentage of the truth is like, okay, there it is. Now it's time to go use that power for the light, you know. That's where I've been trying focus. That's what I've been trying to wrap my head around.
I think about like also a friend of mine was giving this example about during the time of Jesus, may peace be upon him, that time it was like illegal to like say certain things and teach certain things from scripture and that was real. Like you would be jailed or you would be beaten or you would be crucified or killed. You know, we don't live in a time now like you could dress up like a girl if you want. You can be a man and dress up like a girl and go into the bathroom or not. I mean, it's pretty, like, in other words, we're free, very free to do what we want to do. And it's almost like this truther community in some ways, weird, strange way. Richie from Boston's a good example, but it's like they want to be like, it's almost like a high, like they want that adrenaline of like, you know, of FEMA camps, and it's very strange, you know, it's very strange. Like I don't see it nearly like that at all anymore. What I see is very, very powerful, wealthy people that really just, have you ever heard of Montague Williams, that the famous quote from Montague Williams III?
No.
Anyways, I'll send it to you, but it's interesting. Like he's telling the people in this very poetic prose, he's explaining to people that like we are where we're at in wealth because we have secrets that you don't know about. And our job, he doesn't say our job is to kill you. Our job is really to keep you uninformed or ill-informed about your own situation. So we busy you with all these trivial things, with TV, with materialism. We busy you with all this nonsense. So you never will quite figure out how we retain power. And I think a big part of this whole game is not necessarily trying to take what they have, but realizing that like this is a Hunger Games model where if we learn how to survive, whether it's getting your own land like you have, or getting some skills, whatever it is, like we're in a time now where we really have to kind of just get those. The first skill was to wake up and realize, okay, don't like take their weird stuff in your body. Okay, we get that. Now it's all about like skill building and self-preservation through that, rather than there's no self-preservation by exposing or by talking about what Satan is doing. There's just
No.
repeating the same pattern. Self-preservation lies in actually doing the things that are required to preserve yourself. And that's all. It's just interesting.
No, it's an interesting thing because, like with the whole, I bump into it a lot, like just what you were saying about like, what is the important information? Like when you're sitting, educating your child and reading their stuff and seeing what it is, you realize on a certain level, all of a sudden, that the foundational elements of everything that we as adults base our reality upon little shaky, dude. And it's funny because you see that there's like the minute you move out of the basics, like math, reading, writing, just the baseline stuff, that's like where all the power lies. The minute you move out of that little core of stuff and you move into this other stuff, it becomes wonky real quick, dude. Like real quick, dude, where you're like, whoa, dude. Like, I don't know if I can sit. I don't know if I can like I bump into the stuff all the time with the founding fathers and history and all of that. And I've read too much to sit there and promote Western civic narrative. You're not going to get me to promote the 1692 or whatever that narrative is either, because I come from a totally narrative, which is based upon based upon the lens of those two other camps. You know what I mean? And so all of a sudden you realize like the soil you're standing on. Like when I look at the land and the thing, and I'm like, what is important here? What is it that we need to know? And the first thing you realize standing on the terra firma is that the interest-bearing currency hustle is a hustle, and that it is your own frequency that generates everything. And if you can get to that core element, but you bump into things like just the constant malarkey with the space thing, dude, is enough clutter inside of my brain to like hold me back, where I'm very like, it's very interesting because there's no way to escape it either, dude. Like, that's what I mean about trying to switch the cliffhanger to the positive versus the negative. It's not trying to disprove like the Nazi rat lines and NASA and this and that, but try to like take the cliffhanger away from that and get back to the terra, the actual feet under our thing, where it doesn't matter. For what I guess what I'm trying to say is that like the first thing that really woke me up like in this other direction was years ago with the whole flat round thing, dude. I remember like bumping into a number of people that were all about the flat thing. And I remember just exploring it on this thing. It was no different than when I first started asking about the sauces before Al was born. I was like, so what, this and that. And I watched the incredible psychotic nature of the flat people, where I was like, whoa, you're no different than the ratliners, dude, with your globes and stuff. And that was like the first waking up that the whole truther thing was a fraud, dude. Like, I mean, as a truther, that's one of the truths, is that the truther
You just gotta watch Alex Jones.
A lie.
So, Alex Jones was, but yeah, it's
the gay frog, dude. but that was the thing is like, but like, there's this weird thing where you like you can't be entertained, like allow yourself to get truth from like from it too. Like, that's the weird thing is like if you, like, I used to be way into the gay frog, right? But at the same time, I was always checking out like wherever the gay frog went, I would go check out the people, the other side of it too.
Yeah.
And be like,
I'm the same way. I've always, yeah.
I've never bought into the thing, but I've also been like, the gay frog was handing out all sorts of information that you could like use to steady yourself for the next wave of the thing, right? Where you could cut through the chaff a little bit, dude.
I just always looked at all these, Alex Jones, David Icke, all these guys, these sort of cult of personality types have always, I could never be like ever attached or be fully, I would listen to certain people for like entertainment value, not Alex Jones or like a Joe Rogan. I was never into that stuff. But people nowadays, it's like, it's weird because, yeah, like seemingly like normal people now who are like, have been quote unquote, which I hate this term, red pilled, somehow like, yeah, like they found a home with these sort of these things, whether it's the flatters or whether it's the Alex Jones or whether it's the Joe Rogan. They're actually really like kind of calibrated these sort of cult of personalities to fit certain demographics. It's very fascinating. If you know anything about marketing and you study it, it really is like the algorithm is really working to like get you into buckets. Like David Icke.
I don't do the algorithm thing.
Like, I don't either, but I'm saying
my journey comes from
many people do it though, unknowingly are falling for that is all I'm saying. But
there's this weird thing is like that my journey comes from watching the old growth forest get chopped down in the 90s during the salvage rider and going and seeing the ports and going on and being like, okay, like a real environmentalist ultimately went that route to the
Michael A. Hoffman is a good one. Yeah, I have Michael A. Hoffman's a good one. Sorry about that.
And you take the journey, but you don't pull the
sorry.
You I mean, again, as I look on the brink, like without the truth through movement, the environmentalist kills himself, literally. Because like there is a actual conspiracy going on, but the conspiracy is not against us, dude. It's against Eden. It's against the garden. It's the destruction of the garden, which we're fully partaking in moment by moment. And we don't want, and the hustle is to not look towards yourself and realize that you're the gnarliest on good and bad. Like the whole thing, until you make peace with yourself, you're doomed to be the destroyer, you know? So it all comes down to this weird. Yeah, but Max Egan blew himself out too, dude. Like they all blew themselves out.
Max Egan is kind of a weirdo.
He got blue beamed.
Yeah, Michael A. Hoffman's another one. He's really good, but then he's all about the moon landing. It's like you can never win with some of these people, you know. You're like,
I think it's that thing of like,
some you get, some you win, some you lose some. So
well, it's that thing again is if all of it, the whole truth, all the thing points to the person in the mirror. All data points go back to the person in the mirror. And so when you figure out that simple truth, that the whole point of all of this down here is to figure out who you are before God, right? You can dude, David Icke, immensely important to my journey. Jones, important. Edward Abbey, super important. Carlos Castaneda, super important. Everything that I've ever taken in, super important, because it got me here to be able to look at the dude in the mirror and be like, oh, it's not the World Economic Forum. It's not the interest-bearing currency. It's not the dudes with the small hats. It's not the pedos. It's not this. It's not this. It's not that. It's literally me and whether I choose to go with God or stay with this nonsense, dude. And that's what I mean about trying to change the direction of the thing is like, no, let's make the cliffhanger the real truth, that it's all good news. But you gotta look at yourself in the mirror first and be like, ooh, dude.
That's the thing. I do believe, like, there's definitely occult movements. There's definitely Satan at work. I want to make something perfectly clear, like just for myself first and for you, but I do believe that there's a lot of things going on, but it's better to be focused on,
dude, I want look
to be focused on God and trying to correct our relationship with our
wanted the
Creator
orange
rather
man
than
to
busy
be
ourselves
legit.
with
Like I
what
wanted
we're
the orange
doing.
man to be legit. Like I as a dude, like I wanted the orange man to be legit. I wanted all of them to be legit at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, the ultimate discovery of the truther is the truth. That the only one lying and conspiring is you to yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes two to conspire. It's you and your ego conspiring to lie to yourself long enough to waste this life without finding your relationship with God. And that's at the end all the be all. Like I don't get how you can not be a truther, not ultimately get to that final point of like, oh, it doesn't matter who brought down the twin skyscrapers once upon a time. It doesn't matter who locked up a bunch of weirdos over
That's
here.
simple. Muslims did it. Come on.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Of course it does matter. It matters, of course. You gotta get them out of the houses in Palestine.
Well,
they
as I said,
they did the buildings. Hamish, come on.
Well, that's funny.
They did the buildings. That equals to allowing us to go and get them out of those houses. Okay.
But there you go, dude. You said it, and I mentioned it yesterday on one of my or the day before on the stream. I go, at the end of the day, it is all about Palestine.
I've said that for 20.
Yeah, no, we've been
now.
saying it, but what I mean is the
I'm agreeing with
the
you.
truthers won't even touch it, dude.
They won't. It's fascinating. That's the big thing. That
the conservatives won't touch it. The liberals won't touch it.
David Icke, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, none of them will touch it.
None of them will touch Palestine.
Not with a 10-foot pole, because, for obvious reasons.
No, well, but that's what I mean is at the end of the day, that is where it all goes, is the person in the mirror willing to let that occur. Like we all like seriously, like if we actually believed in anything that we uncovered along the way, we would throw all of our weight behind ending that. But at the end of the day, you ain't going to do nothing about it. I ain't going to do nothing about it. We can talk about it. We can keep it on the forefront. But man, the reason that's there is so that you can go before God and just beg for forgiveness, dude. Just, God, please forgive me for allowing that to occur my entire life, dude. And not be there actively like putting my body between the bulldozers and those families having their houses destroyed. The fact that every
Rachel Corrie was such a beautiful lady, man.
What's that?
Rachel Corrie. You've ever heard her story?
Rachel Corrie, the reporter,
the girl who was killed by Israeli tank.
I know who she is. Yeah,
beautiful girl.
Well, but that's the thing is the fact that every person who knows what's going on, both spiritually, terrestrial, isn't on an airplane or a boat or whatever it takes to go right now to Palestine and put their body between that insanity and life, we have to go to God and ask for forgiveness. What's that?
Bulldozer, sorry. Yeah.
Bulldozers, they're the whole thing, man. And that's what I mean. It's like, oh, I got family here. I got reasons why I can't. But at the end of the day, it's happening right on the planet.
I think there's going to be some I've got two predictions. Can I give you this is not like a prophetic prediction, by the way. This is just a prediction by Henry Kissinger is probably going to, I think Henry Kissinger is going to die this year, which should be cool. A lot of what they're doing right now on the global level is because Henry's alive. And that sounds weird, but Henry's a big like influence for these people. So that's one thing. And then I think with that, after that, with the next year or two, I hope this isn't true, but it seems like they're going to try to either bring down Masjid al-Aqsa or they're going to do something significant with Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, because you can kind of see it pop up in the news periodically. More, it's been escalating. So I would say a large portion of what we're seeing in the world has a lot to do with the state of Masjid al-Aqsa, because they do believe that their Antichrist or their Messiah is to come back and needs to be taking his seat there. And according to some of these sociopaths or psychopaths, that time is very close. That this is coming in like Jerusalem Post. These are things that are coming actually in Israeli newspapers. It's not something that's like conspiracy in the sense. It's something that the rabbis are actually talking about, which is interesting.
Well, it's that weird thing about it all, man. It comes down to this thing, man. The only truth I know is God constantly rolls out the red carpet for me.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can say for sure at this stage of the game, is that God truly loves me and I'm mostly a moron. That's all I know for sure. With the this and the that and the whole thing. I'm going to put my prediction on the mat for this year.
Well, I'm just saying, Henry Kissinger's 99 years old. I'm just saying.
That's a safe bet. I'm going to put my safe bet out there. There's not going to be any sort of nuclear exchange this year.
No. Well, yeah, of course. There's no such thing as nuclear. There's no such thing as nuclear.
There'll be no resolution in the wheat fields of Eastern Europe this year. Just in case you're wondering, that's not going to get resolved anytime soon. And I don't think there's going to be a civil war in the United States. And odds are they're just going to start coming and taking your lead with your MAGA flags. They're going to collect them at the same time. Give us your MAGA flag and your lead, dude. All right. Yeah. Teresa TV. There's no look because I probably got to get going here. Is at the end of the day, there's absolutely zero to fear outside of the person staring you in the mirror. That's what I can't even get into the
sound fruity, but go ahead.
I can't even get into the small hat thing or any of it, dude. It's just so like I said, when I stand outside and I forget.
Brian Rose, I just got an email from Brian Rose.
Oh yeah, dude. I keep unsubscribing and I keep getting emails.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But it's that thing is like when I go out and I forget to look up at the mountains, and then at some point during the day, I look up at the mountains and I'm like, oh, wow, there they are, dude. They didn't even know they didn't even care that I didn't notice them today. That's the weird thing with living in the mountains now is like you just go outside and you realize you haven't looked at the mountains and accepted their just awe, and you're like, they didn't care whether you noticed him or not. They were just busy being mountains, man. Like, be like the mountain, man.
I enjoy these conversations, Hamish.
You too. We got to check in more. Maybe we should dig it. Maybe we should dig into the darkness of skateboarding.
Well, we gotta dig into the darkness. I mean, I'm gunning for Jim Thiebaud and these guys, Robert Brink. I'm gunning for them.
Let's gun for them, dude. Let's go get them next week.
Screw these guys, man.
Bring your stuff. Because I got my own theory about it, especially since the Beanie Man started chiming in about it all too, dude.
Let's do it next week. Next week, cool. We'll set a time.
Yeah. Let's go into the dark bunny hole of skateboarding and dig out
that's real. Like that's real stuff right there. So
yeah, because we're skateboarders, dude.
Absolutely.
We are. All right, my brother. Love you, man.